Taoiseach has said he'll intervene in the case of an Irish woman who's facing charges in Dubai in what he called the most appalling circumstances. Simon Harris was speaking in the Dáil after Mary Lou MacDonald raised the plight of 28-year-old Tori Towey from Roscommon, who the Sinn Féin leader said was attacked in her home. Radha Stirling is a human rights activist with Detained in Dubai, an organisation she founded in 2008. When we spoke earlier, I asked her first, how is Tori now and what are her circumstances?
Well, I've spoken to Tori and her mum Caroline just this morning, and they're tired. Actually, they're exhausted and overwhelmed by everything that's been going on, and what might happen in the next week. But they're also, really, really warmed at the Irish community, at the Irish government, and really everyone rallying behind them and 100% supporting them. So, I mean, that's just wonderful for them. It's given them hope and inspiration, and they're really, they're desperate to come home, obviously, and they're hoping that's going to happen very, very soon. They're currently staying in an Airbnb together, so hopefully it'll only be for a few more days.
And what charges is Tori Towey facing now?
Right, so she was told she had been charged with alcohol abuse and attempted suicide. Now, I validated this with the Department of Public Prosecutions today, and it's exactly as they said. So there's been no differences to the charges, and so they're proceeding on that, which is very bizarre since they allegedly decriminalised attempted suicide in the past couple of years, and also have been promoting that they've decriminalised alcohol consumption. So it's quite surprising that they would proceed to charge especially her under these circumstances and take her to court knowing that she obviously needs help, needs to just go home with her family.
And do you know, has Tori had to appear in court yet?
No, she hasn't had to. The first one will be next week. So she's attended the police station, the prosecutor, a couple of times just to find out more information and actually try to get those charges dropped, but hasn't been successful.
Does she have legal representation?
No, she doesn't. It's extremely prohibitively expensive in the UAE, and foreigners are almost seen as targets by lawyers. So you could expect fees of around maybe $50,000 for a case like this.
Where is her passport?
She doesn't have a passport at the moment. I believe that's with police, and it wouldn't matter if she did have her passport because it will have a travel ban and she wouldn't be able to move without it. So if the police drop the case against her, she will be able to get her passport and leave the country.
And she was employed, I understand, by Emirates Airlines. What is her employment status now?
Emirates Airlines has been good to her, so they've let her take time off in lieu of what's happened. She's technically still employed by them. And, obviously after what's happened to her in Dubai and after the international media and, everything that she's had to do to leave the country, I can't imagine she'll be going back ever again once she gets to Ireland.
Can I just come back to the charges with you again, Radha, please? What are the likely outcomes for somebody charged and convicted with the offences you outlined to us of alcohol abuse and attempted suicide?
There's no such thing as precedent in the UAE, so it absolutely comes down to the judge, and it could be 3 months in prison, it could be 2 years in prison, or it could be a fine and deportation, or it could actually be putting her in some sort of mental institution. So they've got all of those remedies available to them. Or, in a best case scenario, they will simply say, OK, we're not going to proceed beyond this hearing and we're going to let you go.
At the moment, she's living in an Airbnb, you said. Is she free to come and go within the confines of the country?
Yes, she is. Right now, she's just happy to sort of be with her mother in safety because this is all very recent. But she is able to leave the apartment and move freely within the country.
How long has she lived there?
In Dubai, she's been there for just over a year, actually. She moved there when she originally got the job with Emirates in 2023.
And what does she want Taoiseach Simon Harris, the Irish Prime Minister, to do now?
Well, the best thing to do is speak to their counterparts in the UAE and just simply say, we can't have this. This is obviously an error on behalf of the Dubai police. This never should have been charged or prosecuted. And they need to be trained on victim care, I think, more than anything. And hopefully the government of Dubai will see, that these charges are without merit, that they shouldn't happen and they need to protect women. And it's, a terrible PR for the country. You're going to have people worried to go there in the future. And of course, this is on the back of, historically charging rape victims with sex outside marriage. So they don't have the best reputation to start with. They've been trying to improve it. So I think they'll be agreeable with the Irish government if there's enough diplomatic pressure put on them, letting them know that we absolutely want Tory home and there's just going to be no negotiation on that.
So the next steps at this stage, you said a court appearance next week, but do you see the next steps now as behind the scenes diplomacy?
100%. I think when it comes to a case like this, it's all about diplomacy. Without the support of the Irish government, she would be likely to face prison and charges and deportation. With the support of the Irish government and diplomacy, and there has been a lot, that various members of the Irish government have contacted the UAE's ambassador to Ireland, and of course Ireland's ambassador in the UAE, and they're trying to get those diplomatic talks happening. If that happens, that is the best and fastest way to get her home.
And you were listening there to Radha Stirling from the organisation she founded, Detained in Dubai.